With this resolve, the Earth prepared for battle, knowing that the fight for their survival was just beginning. And as Leo's tears dried, he transformed his grief into a burning desire for justice. He would fight for his mother and all the lives lost, determined to show the universe the true strength of humanity. After the tragic attack on Green Hollow, the news of the Galactic Empire's brutality spread like wildfire across Earth. People were shocked and enraged. Families who had once lived in peace now felt a deep fear and anger bubbling within them. In every corner of the planet, people gathered around their screens, watching the reports of the devastation that had taken place. Images of the destruction filled their hearts with sorrow, but they also ignited a fierce desire for revenge. In a massive hall in the capital city, leaders from different countries gathered for an emergency meeting. The air was thick with tension and emotion as they prepared to discuss their response to the Empire's attack. General Harris, a respected military leader known for his bravery, stood before the assembled crowd. His strong voice carried a sense of urgency. "We have suffered a terrible loss," he began, his eyes scanning the faces of the leaders. "But we cannot allow this to define us. We must stand united against this enemy." His words echoed throughout the hall, stirring hope in the hearts of the audience. The room filled with shouts of agreement. Leaders from various nations rose to share their thoughts, each one passionate and determined. "We cannot let the Galactic Empire think they can just walk all over us," shouted one leader. "We need to protect our people and send a strong message." As discussions continued, plans began to take shape. The world's brightest minds came together to devise a strategy. Engineers and scientists from every nation joined forces, determined to prepare the most powerful fleet Earth had ever seen. They worked day and night, fueled by anger and the memory of the fallen child. In shipyards around the globe, workers raced against time to build warships equipped with the latest technology. These ships were no ordinary vessels. They were designed for speed, agility, and firepower. With cloaking devices that could make them invisible to enemy sensors and advanced AI systems that could coordinate attacks, the Earth fleet was becoming a force to be reckoned with. The atmosphere was electric as construction crews toiled tirelessly. Massive hangars echoed with the sounds of welding and machinery. Huge warships took shape, glimmering in the sunlight as they were assembled piece by piece. The workers felt a sense of purpose, knowing they were part of something bigger than themselves. They were not just building ships, they were crafting a future where humanity could stand tall against their oppressors. Meanwhile, the general reached out to former military pilots, calling them back to service. Veterans, who had long since hung up their uniforms, answered the call with a mix of nostalgia and determination. They remembered the pride of serving their country and the sacrifices they had made. Now, they were eager to return to the skies, ready to defend their home and loved ones. As the news spread of Earth's preparations, a wave of unity washed over the planet. People began to gather in their communities, forming rallies and vigils to honor those who had lost their lives. Signs were raised, declaring their support for the military and their determination to stand against the Galactic Empire. "We will not back down," read one banner, capturing the spirit of the moment. In schools and workplaces, conversations shifted from fear to resilience. Children wore makeshift uniforms and pretended to be pilots, while adults shared stories of bravery and hope. They knew they had to protect their future and the future of generations to come. Back in the war room, General Harris stood with a map spread out before him. He traced the routes they would take, calculating the most strategic paths to surprise the enemy. "We will launch our attack in 3 weeks," he declared, his voice steady. "By then, we will have our fleet ready. We will strike at their weak points and show them the true power of humanity." With each passing day, Earth's forces grew stronger, united by a common goal. The 700,000 warships would soon sail into battle, armed not just with advanced technology, but also with the collective will of a planet that refused to be defeated. As the preparations continued, the spirit of humanity shone bright. Leo, the boy who had lost so much, joined the young recruits training to become pilots. He stood among them, his heart filled with purpose. He would fight not only for his mother, but for all the innocents who had suffered at the hands of the Galactic Empire. The day of reckoning was drawing closer. Earth was ready to send a clear message to the Galactic Empire. They would no longer be seen as weak or helpless. The tide was turning, and the world was about to witness the fierce resilience of humanity. In the vast reaches of space, the Galactic Empire continued its conquest, confident in its power and technology. Their command center, a massive structure floating high above a distant planet, was filled with officers and generals who had devoted their lives to the Empire. They were skilled in warfare and proud of their advanced technology, but they were also arrogant, viewing lesser civilizations like humans as insignificant. Inside the command center, the atmosphere was one of celebration. The Galactic Empire had just completed another successful mission, and reports of their destruction of Earth's colony reached their ears. Laughter and cheers filled the room as the leaders reveled in their victory. Commander Zalara, a tall alien with piercing blue skin and sharp features, stood at the center of the room, commanding everyone's attention. "Let us toast to our glorious conquest," she declared, raising a glass. The room erupted with applause and cheers, but beneath the surface, some of the officers felt a nagging worry. They had heard whispers of humanity's response to the attack. "Are we sure the humans won't retaliate?" one young officer asked hesitantly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Retaliate?" Commander Zalara scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Do you honestly think those primitive creatures can mount any meaningful defense against us? They are nothing but insects beneath our feet." Her dismissive attitude echoed throughout the chamber, and the officers nodded in agreement, hiding their doubts. As the celebration continued, a holographic display lit up the room, showing images of Earth's destruction. It was a grim sight, filled with smoke and ruins. But instead of fear, it fueled their arrogance. "Look at them," Zalara said with a sneer. "They cower in fear while we conquer their lands. They are weak and they will remain weak." Meanwhile, deep in the Empire's command, an intelligence officer reviewed incoming reports. "Commander, we have intercepted communications from Earth. They are gathering forces and preparing for some sort of counterattack," he said, his voice shaking slightly. "They claim they are building a fleet of 700,000 warships." Zalara waved her hand dismissively. 700,000 warships. Let them come! Their number means nothing against our superior technology. We have fleets that can obliterate entire planets. The humans do not stand a chance." She leaned back in her chair, exuding confidence. "But, Commander," another officer interjected, "what if they have developed new technologies? Their desperation could lead to unpredictable tactics." "Enough!" Zalara barked. "We will deal with them when the time comes. Let them assemble their ships. It only gives us more time to prepare our strategies." Her tone left no room for debate, and the officers nodded reluctantly, knowing better than to challenge her. While the Galactic Empire dismissed the potential threat from Earth, preparations were underway on the Blue Planet. Unknown to the Empire, the humans were not the weak, primitive beings they believed them to be. They were united and determined to show the Empire the true power of humanity. As the days passed, the Galactic Empire received reports of Earth's movements. Ships were being constructed at a rapid pace, and military drills were happening everywhere. In a twisted way, the Empire's laughter became a rallying cry for the people of Earth. Those who had lost loved ones found strength in their anger and determination. They knew that their enemy underestimated them, and that only fueled their desire to fight back. As preparations continued, the Galactic Empire focused on expanding its power, planning more attacks on other planets. They were too busy with their ambitions to realize the storm brewing on Earth. While they reveled in their power, the humans were preparing for war, not just for revenge, but for their very survival. Commander Zalara continued to lead her forces with unwavering confidence, believing that Earth would soon crumble under the weight of its own grief. She did not foresee the determination and resilience that were growing within the hearts of humans. They were not just fighting for revenge, they were fighting for their future, their families, and their home. As Earth united, preparing to unleash a force that the Galactic Empire had never anticipated, the Empire's arrogance would soon be put to the test. The humans were ready to rise, proving that they were not the weaklings the Empire thought they were. The stage was set for an epic clash, one that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The day had finally come. After weeks of preparation, Earth was ready to face the Galactic Empire. As the sun rose over the horizon, it cast a warm glow on the massive fleet of 700,000 warships lined up along the coastline. Each ship was a symbol of human determination and resilience. The atmosphere was electric with anticipation and a fierce sense of purpose. General Harris stood on the bridge of the flagship, a colossal warship named the Phoenix. He looked out at the vast expanse of ships stretching as far as the eye could see. Each vessel was equipped with advanced technology, ready to unleash their firepower upon the enemy. "Today we show the Galactic Empire what we are made of," he said, his voice steady and resolute. The crew around him nodded, their faces reflecting a mix of excitement and determination. Meanwhile, in space, the Galactic Empire was also preparing for battle. Commander Zalara received reports of Earth's fleet, but she remained dismissive. "They think they can challenge us? We will crush them like insects," she declared, rallying her officers. The Empire's warships were sleek and menacing, armed with powerful lasers and advanced targeting systems. The commanders felt confident that they would easily overpower the humans. As the two forces moved closer together, the tension in the air became palpable. The Earth fleet began to deploy, launching into space like a swarm of angry bees. Each pilot had trained tirelessly, and now it was their moment to prove their worth. Leo, the young recruit who had lost so much, was among them. He sat in the cockpit of his fighter ship, heart racing, filled with a mix of fear and determination. "I'm doing this for Mom," he whispered to himself, gripping the controls tightly. The moment the fleets met in the vastness of space, the battle began. The silence of space was shattered by the thunderous sound of weapons fire. Bright beams of energy lit up the dark void as Earth's ships engaged the Empire's forces. The humans fought with a fierce spirit, determined to defend their home and avenge their fallen. General Harris barked orders as he watched the chaos unfold on the screens. "Deploy the cloaking devices! We need to surprise them!" The Earth fleet activated their cloaking technology, becoming nearly invisible to the enemy sensors. This unexpected tactic caught the Galactic Empire off guard, and confusion spread among their ranks. "Where are they?" Zalara shouted, her eyes darting around the control room. "They were here a moment ago." Her officers scrambled to locate the hidden ships, but the humans moved with precision and agility. The Earth fleet struck quickly, targeting key points on the Empire's ships, causing significant damage before fading back into the darkness of space. As the battle raged on, Leo found himself in the heat of combat. He maneuvered his fighter ship skillfully, dodging enemy fire while aiming for an enemy warship. His heart raced as he pulled the trigger, and a bright beam of energy shot out, hitting its target. "Yes, I got one!" he cheered, adrenaline pumping through his veins. But the battle was not without its losses. Explosions erupted around him as Empire ships retaliated. He watched in horror as a nearby ship was hit, debris flying everywhere. "Stay focused, Leo," he reminded himself, pushing aside the fear. He had to fight for his mother and everyone else who had suffered. Back on the ground, families watched from their homes, their eyes glued to screens broadcasting the battle. They felt every explosion and cheered for every victory, united in their support for the brave pilots fighting in space. "Go, Earth!" they shouted, their spirits lifted by the courage of their fighters. As the battle intensified, the Galactic Empire began to realize the extent of humanity's resolve. They were not just fighting against a primitive species, they were up against a united front that was willing to sacrifice everything. The Empire's arrogance began to waver as they faced the unexpected strength of the humans. In the midst of chaos, General Harris coordinated the fleet with precision. "We need to regroup and launch a coordinated attack on their flagship," he ordered. The humans had the advantage of surprise, but they needed to maintain their momentum. As Earth's ships regrouped, the Empire scrambled to regain control, realizing they were in for a tougher fight than they had anticipated. With Leo and his fellow pilots ready for the next wave of battle, Earth had finally stood up against the Galactic Empire. The fight for their home had begun, and the outcome remained uncertain. But one thing was clear. The humans would fight with everything they had, fueled by the memory of those they had lost and the hope of a brighter future. As the battle unfolded, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. Would they overcome the powerful Galactic Empire, or would they fall under the weight of oppression? The fight had only just begun, and the universe would soon witness the true strength of humanity. As the battle raged on in the cold depths of space, Earth's fleet fought fiercely against the Galactic Empire. The sound of lasers and explosions echoed in the void, and the vibrant flashes of energy lit up the darkness. But despite the humans' brave efforts, the Empire's superior technology began to take its toll. Reports of damage and casualties flooded into General Harris's command center. "Status report," Harris demanded, his eyes scanning the screens filled with chaotic images of the battle. His heart sank as he heard the updates. We've lost 3 warships and many fighters. The Empire is regrouping and launching a counterattack. The atmosphere was tense as the crew around him prepared for the worst. They had come so far, and now it felt like they were losing their grip on victory. But in the midst of despair, Leo, still fighting in his fighter ship, sensed something different in the air. He could feel a shift, a spark of hope igniting within him. "Stay strong, team!" Leo shouted over the communication system. "We can do this! Remember why we're fighting!" His words were filled with passion, and he hoped to inspire his fellow pilots as they battled the relentless Empire. He could see the Empire ships regrouping and their tactics changing. The Galactic Empire had underestimated Earth, and now they were scrambling to regain control. Commander Zalara, frustrated by the unexpected resistance, felt her confidence falter. "We need to strike back hard!" she shouted, her blue skin shimmering with anger. "Initiate the heavy bombardment on their flagship! Show them the might of the Empire!" As the Empire prepared for a powerful attack, a sense of urgency surged through the ranks of the human fleet. General Harris knew this was the moment that could change everything. "We need to create a diversion," he said, formulating a plan. "If we can distract them, we can hit their command ship while they're vulnerable." With newfound determination, Harris ordered a select group of ships to engage in a daring maneuver. "Leo, you and your squad will create a diversion. Lead the Empire's ships away from our main fleet." Leo's heart raced with excitement. This was a chance to turn the tide of the battle. "We're on it, General," he replied, adrenaline surging through him. He and his fellow pilots quickly executed their orders, darting towards the Empire's main fleet. They weaved through enemy fire, pulling their pursuers away from the main battle. The leaders knew they needed to take action to ensure that this victory was not in vain. They discussed strengthening their defenses, upgrading their technology, and forming alliances with other planets that had suffered under the Empire's tyranny. "We cannot let this happen again," one official urged. "We must stand united not just as Earth, but as a galaxy." Back in the fleet, Leo reflected on the battle. He thought about his fallen comrades and the families they had left behind. He realized that their fight was not just about survival. It was about hope. "We did this for them," he said to himself, determination growing within him. He wanted to honor their sacrifice by continuing to fight for a better future. As Earth began to heal from the scars of war, General Harris held a memorial service to honor those who had fallen. Soldiers and families gathered to pay their respects. Leo stood among them, feeling a deep sense of loss, but also a connection to those around him. Each name read aloud was a reminder of the bravery displayed on the battlefield. As the service concluded, General Harris spoke. "Today, we remember our heroes, but we also recognize our strength. We have shown the galaxy that humanity will not be silenced or defeated. We will rise again stronger and more united than ever." With those words, a new sense of purpose filled the air. The people of Earth were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They knew that the Galactic Empire would not give up easily, but they were no longer the weak, helpless beings the Empire had thought them to be. Leo looked up at the stars, feeling a sense of hope for the future. "We will fight for what's right," he thought, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The war might not be over, but humanity was ready to stand and fight again. As the Earth fleet began its journey back home, the pilots felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were united, not just by their victory, but by the shared experience of loss and hope. They had discovered their strength, and now they were prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead. The fight against the Galactic Empire had changed them, but it had also brought them together. They were no longer just humans. They were warriors, defenders of their planet, and champions of hope. The galaxy would remember this day, and humanity would rise to meet whatever came next.